Gentlemen, for game number 3 between Team STL and Intentionally Feeding. We saw Team STL take a pretty dominant game number 1, and by pretty dominant, it's almost an overstatement, and then Intentionally Feeding able to turn the script and pick up a dominating win of their own in game number 2. And we're into game 3 now. On the blue side will be Team STL. We see them grouped up near their own blue buff, and on the red side will be Intentionally Feeding, as they're grouped up near the enemy team red buff, doing a little bit of invade. They have Blitzcrank, so of course they're going to be invading. I lost my chat. There we go. Not that anybody's talking to me. Selfish people. But, more pings going down. This is an interesting strategy here. Neither team's seen each other at all. Oh. Is this going to be... Yeah, they're going to spot each other now, so... Not full knowledge, but there's a little bit of knowledge here now. Cleaver lands into the Q from Ezreal. A lot of damage being exchanged. But they've only seen the top and the mid laner, and Darius top does have that teleport to get back to lane, so it's not going to be anything super bad. Oh. That's not good. So Fister takes the red buff away from Heidebear. The smite just lacking a little bit there. And yeah, that's rough. GG gonna go over and steal the red buff from Intentionally Feeding's jungle, and then they're both roaming toward top lane. Darius top should have an idea about this. He has his boomerang skilled, so he's gonna take a big chunk of damage, but nothing permanent there. It keeps his flash up as well. And Blitzcrank, it looks like, went over and helped Heidebear try to get that second first buff secured. So all total, it'll be 2 buffs for 2 buffs, and this is a big trading moment. Yeah, Veigar doesn't fight particularly well early, whereas Cass can get that level 1, level 2 spam going, especially with the Corrupting Potion, and do big chunks of damage. So a little bit of trades in favor of Jonesy early on. And red buff Ashe early on could be a big issue to deal with for Otso and Wing Nation. Already on the Janna Tristana lane. Basically, they just want to sit there and farm the entire game anyway, but having to deal with a red buff Ashe in their lane certainly doesn't help them do that. So now GG trying to clean up the rest of his jungle on this Ezreal. Heidebear should know that his red buff got taken. That's a good grab by Dodgers, able to land that on Wing Nation. The follow-up damage, though, going in favor of Otso with that explosive shot. And that big chunk that GG got in top lane on Darius top, showing itself in that big damage burst that God was able to get, and the big shove that he has as well. Apparently Darius top has spilled his drink, so we're going to enter a little bit more pause time here. This unfortunately was a big problem in LCS this year. People spilling drinks. It's got to stop sometime. I vote we just outlaw water entirely from league matches. I think that's a normal thing, yeah. Accusations in the chat. Teams have readied up, but no one has hit the unpause button. Sorry about that brief interruption. We didn't miss a huge amount. We saw a couple of grabs being landed by Dodgers. We saw a gank in mid lane, kind of being forced by GG. He only burnt his own flash, though. Oh, I guess he did exchange it for Beverage's flash, so a little bit of pressure advantage there in mid lane now for Jonesy, who has both of his escape summoners available, whereas Beverage only has that teleport now. But Heidebear holding the lane, eats some cleavers for his trouble, but able to successfully pass that back off to Darius top. Now the Mundo does have level 6 and teleport available. We could see him try to make a play toward bottom side if they're able to push up at least a little bit to get a ward. That is, but now first back's kind of coming through. God and Darius top gonna scrap. Dodgers lands a hook onto Wing Nation as well, and kind of I've talked about it a lot, but the difference in targeting. Fister chooses to start auto-attacking Otso, whereas Dodgers lands the pull and the knock-up onto Wing Nation. So all told, it's just kind of split damage that's really unfocused. And Darius top and God still duking it out. God has already burned his ultimate, and that's going to be first blood going over to Darius top. Solo kill in top lane for the Gnar. And the hyper stack's really showing through. That percent health damage does quite a bit to Mundo, and unfortunately for God, he hadn't backed yet. So just now he would have the tools to scrap with Gnar. He picked up the Bramble Vest and some health pots, but prior to that, hadn't backed, still had his ultimate available, so a little bit of greed coming through from God, and he pays for it. But now we'll see. Otso tries to jump forward and interrupt the recall, but doesn't connect on anything there. And inarguably, STL definitely scales better into the late game, just in general with their champions. Having 280 carries, one of them being Tristana, the Cassiopeia very strong in the late game as well as Dr. Mundo. So STL probably wants to play a little bit more of a passive game, and they've gotten it at least so far. Only one kill so far through 8.5 minutes of play. Otso now shoving up. Doesn't want to stick around for too long with a level 6 Ashe with a BF sword headed back his way. But also haven't backed as well. And now Darius top fighting God. We can see the Bramble Vest starting to work, though. That trade looks a little bit more even, and if God popped that ultimate, it just wouldn't even be a remotely close trade at this point. But there, the Masochism is popped for Dr. Mundo. And honestly, this looks like the most exciting lane, even though nothing's really happening up here. But Darius top and God just trying to farm up, and it's a little bit of a struggle right now for Dr. Mundo. Eating some spare boomerangs for breakfast. Dodgers now lands the... That was kind of an interesting little interaction, but he lands the stun, or the pull onto Wing Nation. Puts the Ignite down as well as the Ashe Arrow on him, but actually doesn't knock him up in the process. So, a lot burned there for not a whole lot of gain. GG's here. Darius top is mega. Gonna go ahead and gnar him into the wall. The wallop follows up. That's a lot of damage onto GG. But Darius can't finish anything off and will be forced to back away. No summoner spells burned from either side. I guess there were none available for STL, but Gnar able to hold on to that flash to maybe make a play later on. First dragon is an Ocean Dragon. The True Shot Barrage is coming through. I didn't see exactly why. It looked like it was just an attempt to steal back his own Raptors, maybe. But already you can see the Ezreal falling a little bit behind Vi in farm. The 49 to 36. Sometimes those numbers look a little bit inflated, but Vi's bounced back really well from that early mishap in the jungle where Fister accidentally took the red buff at level 1. but still only the 1 kill in the game. A little bit of CS advantage pretty much across the board for intentionally feeding, which is good. It's etched them out to about a 1,000 gold lead, but that's hard to really translate into anything. Kind of an interesting build from Beverage. He's gone for a Sheen plus the Wraith, the Aether Wisp thing. I can't say I've seen the build before. I remember hearing Froggen talk about it on his stream. Something about movement speed Veigar. I wonder if this is the whole plan come to fruition. Wing Nation trying to take out a Pink Ward, but he's going to grab a Blitzcrank hook for his trouble. Fister is focused on Otso, though. The Ash Arrow comes through. It's going to interrupt Wing Nation's ultimate. Flash forward's going to be the trade. Beverage is here. He lands the baby cage. Otso's trapped just a little bit. And I don't know why he tried to bounce away. The rocket jumped directly into the cage. Going to secure a kill for Beverage. Grab doesn't land on GG. He's still very healthy. Oh, the E over the wall into the True Shot Barrage, but it doesn't connect on anybody. Cage comes back up, and it's going to force GG to flash away. Jonesy is rotating down here. He's very late on the rotation, but hoping maybe the Dodgers overstays. He's going to walk through that Pink Ward on the way, though. That was a weird little sequence of events, but we saw the kill immediately come through. As soon as Fisters and Dodgers focused on the same target, they were able to pick off Wing Nation. Granted, Fister died in the process. Then the extended Beverage was able to clean up the kill with the Primordial Burst ultimate from Veigar onto Tristana. So, all told, the AD carries trade kills, and we see that pretty much reflected in their even builds. But the extra kill going over to Veigar is definitely a dangerous person to have it on. The Lichbane is finished up. I don't know what kind of power spike that truly is on Veigar. I'm going to be 100% honest. I have no clue, but he does have the Lichbane finished up, and that is for sure an item that is completed. Jonesy, I thought I saw that wrong. I thought he was maxing the Miasma for just a second out of the corner of my eye. But yeah, really just a lot of farming happening in this game. That was a brief moment of action, but neither team really able to snowball it into an objective. No first tower going down. Dodgers wanders in. He's going to take a lot of damage for his trouble. Not quite a fully charged explosive shot, but free damage is free damage, I suppose. Jonesy's going to wander out and find another Pink Ward in his way. Now, this has been a pretty untypical GG game. Normally, we like to see him have really early pressure and try to get snowballing lanes. We highlighted some of the good that he did in top and mid, but God and Jonesy not able to capitalize thus far. Meanwhile, Heidebear has been, I don't want to say non-existent this game, but he's been very, very focused on his farm. I think, yeah, the level 8 Vi, we still haven't seen Assault and Battery used, and I don't even really think we've seen him set up for a gank, unless it might have been while I wasn't quite here, but regardless, and call out in the chat, it was a really good sidestep by Wing Nation to avoid the rocket grab. GG and Darius top fighting. GG is going to get by far the worst of this, and actually is taken down on top of the blast cone as he tries to fly away. So the second kill of the game going over to Darius top, and the Gnar looking pretty strong. And now a 4-1 lead over to intentionally feeding. Heidebear's caught a little bit doing these Krugs, and that's just a free kill handed over to Otso. And that is not the person you want to give that kill to. The Tristana scaling into late game can be a problem. Rocket grab doesn't connect for Dodgers. Just misses that one up as he grabs the minion. Now with that available, there is a little window. We saw Dodgers land some really nice hooks in game number 1 on Thresh through the minions. Not able to find it there. The ultimate from Ashe sailing wide, as well as the baby cage, the Veigar E. Jonesy's run down now as well, at least marking Vagar a little bit better this time. I'm curious as to what that is. It's Event Horizon, I'm sorry. But now Darius Top has pushed God back underneath his turret, getting a reasonable amount of damage on this. And double buff is pretty key. Masochism forced to be used by God. Gnar jumps in, trying to make something happen. This game's kind of stalled out, honestly. GG's roaming toward bot lane, but he's going to be on top of a ward. This looks like the play. The flash Gnar from Darius Top into the wall. It blocks up God underneath the turret. Assault and Battery comes through with a Primordial Burst, and that'll be a nice kill secure. And the 3-man push on top. This is the move that I wanted to see happen from Intentionally Feeding. They've been kind of stalling out the game, but they haven't really used their initiation tools. That's a good grab onto Otso. Fister's doing a lot of damage. Flash in from Janna, trying to just save Otso. He has a couple of ticks of health left. Able to sustain, get that Warlord's proc off of one minion. GG with the shot in. Jonesy coming out from around the turret, lands the Twin Fangs. Able to secure one kill. Grab from Dodgers, locks Jonesy up under the turret, but it's going to be the second kill going over to Jonesy. And now the push being matched. Darius Top is here. Cleans up one, trying to push through. On to Cass, taking her low. The Hyperstack picks that one up underneath the turret. And now Vagar's come in as well from the side. Do they know? He locks God inside the Event Horizon, but it's not going to be truly effective. Darius Top jumps in with the Gnar. Beverage tries to juke through the bush, but winds up going down. Kill credit over to God. And now Darius Top trying to run away. Oh, or is he? The Hyperstack able to take out GG. God and Darius Top now fighting the Bramble Vest, proving its worth there. Can Wing Nation finish off the kill? No, he can't. Darius Top picks up his 6th kill of the game as the as the members of STL feed in one by one into the Gnar. That was a little bit of an overreach by STL. I liked the idea behind the dive, but ultimately just getting caught on the wrong side of the turret. Gnar came in, was able to clean up a couple of kills, and then, I don't know, able to outduel in total basically 4 members of STL. There were a couple of kills exchanged, but the top turret went down during that whole process, and Intentionally Feeding comes out with a gigantic victory. Dodgers doesn't connect on the rocket grab and is forced back away from the turret now. 9 kills to 5. We're hitting the 20-minute mark. Still no dragons in the game. Baron will be an objective before too long. GG's kind of hovering around the spot side now, choosing to go back toward his Raptors. So I don't think we'll see anything happening there. Ooh, Jonesy and Beverage. Oof. I lost my words for a second, and we had a kill. GG able to come in over the wall, and now Otso being grabbed in the bot lane, gets locked up by the Blitzcrank. Good ultimate from Wing Nation to try to disengage that. And when Otso's being focused on, it's hard to exchange that damage back. We see kind of moderately low health bars for Fister and Dodgers, but Otso is the one that pays for it. As I was saying in mid lane, that was a really nice play by GG to get in. Beverage just not quite enough damage to 100-0 the Cassiopeia. Now Darius Top coming in with that Gnar. Has the ultimate available, but slowed up by the Miasma from Cassiopeia and forced to disengage. Now we have 6 kills to 9. Nice. In favor of Intentionally Feeding. Ping's going down onto Dragon, but it still doesn't seem like either team's particularly interested in that. Both of the junglers are just on opposite sides of the map. God and Jonesy taking their time to push in mid lane. About a 4,000 gold lead right now for intentionally feeding. Vygar's roam down to bottom. The Rift Herald going to be popped by Gnar, and the Primordial Burst will just clean up Wing Nation before he has a chance to do anything. Turret picked up by the Rift Herald, and now still 3 members pushing in. Veigar is choosing to go back to mid lane to try to save that turret. And there are 4 here for STL. It looks like they're just going to be satisfied with the chunk from the Rift Herald. As everybody peels off, Heidebear looks like kind of on a maybe a little different wavelength than the rest of his teammates, as he's up. He was up on the red side that entire time. Dragon being started. Beverage has... Oh, I'll check that in a minute. So we watch the Dragon. Gigi's just over the wall. Tries to pick it up with the Mystic Shot, but not able to. Let's go ahead and check in on Beverage. He's got 171 total ability power. And Cass is caught by the Rocket Grab into the Assault and Battery, and there's a crowd control combo able to pick up a kill on Jonesy. God now taking some damage. And now Primordial Burst is back up for Beverage. Oh, Wing Nation caught again. And there's another kill picked up by Beverage, up to 4-2 now on that Veigar. That Primordial Burst has been the biggest tool for intentionally feeding. God caught in the Event Horizon, gonna get walloped into Gnar. He doesn't even... The masochism just doesn't matter. Vi picks up that kill, and the push continues in mid. Looks like they are going to back off finally for now, but pick up the mid tower and 3 kills for their trouble, and now it's out to a 13-6 lead in that kill score, and about a 7,000 gold lead for intentionally feeding. So everything looking really good for intentionally feeding. Their team composition playing out about the way you'd expect. Their crowd control really showing through, and that's the big strength that their composition has. We haven't seen STL's composition really get rolling yet. The Cass and the Triss need time to scale. The Ezreal still doesn't have that Trinity Force completed. It's just really difficult. And on top of that, like I mentioned in Champ Select, it's really difficult to pick fights with this team composition. There's no button that they can press that say, hey, we're ready to fight. And it's going to be hard to get a pick. God and Beverage exchanging pleasantries. Ooh, I thought God could get that ward. That's honestly a little bit surprising to me. But there are three members strong coming in for intentionally feeding. And they've managed to group up with 5. They have 2 teleports available. This is kind of like game 1 where I was saying I'd like to see them spread the map just a little bit here. Gnar is the strongest member in the game right now. Veigar is probably the second strongest, honestly. I think God is probably the only person that can stop Veigar's push, and I don't know that anyone can stop Gnar's if they just sent him to a side lane and let him teleport into the fight. You have initiation tools other than that, so you can start the fight. Well, not if you miss the Ash Arrow. Fister does connect onto Otso. He's awkwardly stunned up underneath his turret. But this is the hard point. We've talked a lot about it in previous casts, but it's difficult. Once you have all the outer towers down, how do you make a decisive play toward the inner? The rotation comes through for intentionally feeding. This looks very good. They get an inner tower. Darius Top comes in, lands the wallop, but only onto God, and now the disengage. Oh, a good rocket grab onto Otso, and he's just going to explode. The Primordial Burst picks that one up. God's in trouble as well. On the other side, Wing Nation tries to save Gigi, but it's not going to be enough. Heidebear comes over the wall, gets the Assault and Battery through the wall. God is fighting it to his last, but it just doesn't matter. There's not even healing reduction yet on intentionally feeding, and they're still able to chip through this Mundo with relative ease. Dodgers coming through, lands the grab onto Jonesy, manages to flash out of the event horizon, but the Asher goes back up to clean that kill up. And it's C Hero, Kill Hero for team intentionally feeding as they roll through the inhibitor. And with that big 12,000 gold lead in their pocket, it looks like their attention's going to be turned to Baron. GG is up. I don't know that he's got much of a chance to steal this. Vi's actually forced out of that, so there was very much a chance to steal that. Even just a True Shot Barrage coming through, but it looked like it was just a little bit too late there. And that'll be the Baron being secured for intentionally feeding. Can they make the push in? They do, so STL does pick up the inner turret and mid in exchange. That's their first turret of the game. At least get a little bit of gold on that board, but still trail by 12,000 gold. Now this is an interesting setup. So intentionally feeding running through the STL should have a general idea of where that vision was. Otso gets grabbed over the wall, though, and locked up and taken down. Beverage picks up his 6th kill of the game. And the push comes through toward bottom side. The Dragon is available in 2 seconds. I don't foresee them backing off to take that as they try to roll through. Dodgers flashes in for the rocket grab, but not able to connect. Inhibitor turret falls. Inhibitor 2 under fire as well. Event Horizon traps Jonesy. Primordial Burst not able to execute him, though. They do pick up 1 return kill. Jonesy trying to kite away, but he's taken down by Heidebear. Rocket grab comes through, able to grab Janna and take her down. God now is falling as well. And GG will be cleaned up for the triple kill for Heidebear. Oh, it's a quadra kill, excuse me. Here's Otso. Wallop doesn't connect. Otso tries to fly away. Gets knocked up, rocket grabbed out, the Gnar into the wall. It's taken! The pentakill taken by Darius Top. The Nexus turrets will fall, and the game is over. Intentionally feeding picks up the week 2 win, 2-1 over STL. And honestly, given the way game 1 rolled through, I did not expect this performance from intentionally feeding. We saw really good awareness of their macro play in games 2 and 3, and really good adjustments. The adjustments in bans and picks particularly led to them being able to fight back. We saw in game 1 they picked 3 losing lanes, lost all of them, got snowballed on, but they came back in game 2 with a plan. They picked some winning lanes, they picked some more comfortable picks for them, and Beverage really got the ball rolling with that Lucian play. Game 2, again, we saw them pick winning lanes. We saw STL kind of falter in picks and bans, honestly. This composition that they picked doesn't do anything particularly well, honestly, and we saw it fall apart pretty early on. So, congratulations to Intentionally Feeding. 2-1 victory in week number 2, and that'll wrap up my coverage. Game 2 MVP is going to go over to Darius Top only. He played really fantastic game on that Gnar. Series MVP, I'm going to go with Beverage. He had a really... I can't understate the performance that he had on Lucian in game number 2. He popped off on that Lucian and was able to get everything rolling in their direction. Game number 3 played a really solid Vigar, even with that kind of strange build, but his event horizons were what set up a lot of the plays, and his roam bottom lane early on helped snowball that game out. So good game to both sides, and thank you all for watching. Shout out to Beverage for the follow. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and post the VODs on YouTube.